Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen. And it is almost summer. What does that mean? It means that we're going to be entertaining. It means there's going to be barbecues, and this is a winner. Right? It's a crowd pleaser, as they say. It's vegetarian, and I did not make this with ghee, which I'm going to do a video on how to make ghee. But because we have some people that have some dietary restrictions, I simply used avocado oil, and I have to say, it comes out great. Some people would, if you're a traditionalist, you definitely want to stick with the ghee, but otherwise, personally, I think the avocado oil works awesome. It breaks down into two basic parts. One is the lentils, which I'm using split lentils instead of whole lentils because they cook faster. It doesn't really change anything other than the time involved as far as I'm concerned. And the other part are the aromatics, which are cooked separately, and then you add the cooked lentils to the aromatics to create this beautiful, almost, well, in my case, I like it almost to be a paste. Now, traditionally, again, it's quite often more of got a soupy texture to it, but I prefer to have it a little bit thicker than that, simply because it's easier to spread onto bread. In this case, I'm using a Persian Barbary bread, but a lot of people prefer to use pita. Anyway, it's very easy to make. As I say, it's got an amazing flavor profile between jalapenos, garlic. Well, you'll see. So let's get into the kitchen here, and I'll show you all the ingredients to get started, okay? Hope you enjoy this one. All right, so let's get started with our ingredients, and make sure you get them all together as usual. Your mise en place done if you can. So we start with a little bit of avocado oil. Got salt, lemon, red lentils, which have been washed. You want to definitely make sure you wash your lentils when you get them from wherever you get them, because sometimes they have stones in them, besides the fact that there might be dirt and dust and everything else on them. Chopped onion. Now I'm using red onion, but you could use sweet onions as well. Tomatoes, just rough chop. Jalapenos, mint. We've got turmeric and cumin, and I'm using a cayenne pepper and fresh pressed garlic. So those are all the ingredients that we're going to be working with today. So get those together and then come back. All right, so the next step is pretty simple, straightforward. I've taken the lentils and put them in a big pot, and I filled it with water, and the water I measure by about 2.5 centimeters above the lentil line, or 1 inch. And now I'm putting this on high heat until it comes to boil. And as soon as it's boiling, I'm going to bring it down to a simmer, and we're going to cook this for about 45 minutes. Now these are split red lentils as opposed to whole ones, so they'll probably cook a little bit faster. So I'll get back to you because I'm going to test this as I go. I've never used the split lentils before, but I'll let you know. Stay tuned. All right, so the water is just coming to a boil now, but I'm going to add a few things to that. I'm going to add the chopped tomatoes and the jalapenos. I'm only going to do half of them right now. This was a rather large jalapeno. It was about that big. So I don't want to kill everybody with it, because I'm also putting chili powder in there. And I'm going to put the mint in. Chopped mint, and this will give it a chance to absorb all those delicious flavors, because after this we're going to add aromatics, but not before we fry them. So now that's in there, I am going to I'm going to partially cover this. I've decided, because they're split again, that I'm going to do 20 minutes. With whole lentils, it usually is almost an hour. But with split, I think I'm going to cut it in half. So we'll see what happens in terms of time. So I'm going to reduce the heat on this as soon as it starts to boil again. And I'll check it again in 20. And on another note, I should mention, now that it's simmering, I'm going to partially cover the pot, not completely, but partial. So I'll get back to you. Okay, so this has been almost 40 minutes on this simmer, and you can see the consistency here right now. Now, historically, a lot of people like dal to be kind of soupy. I personally prefer it to be almost a paste, which I know is not traditional, but I'm going to put this aside right now and just let it finish like this, and we're going to start with the aromatics. Alright, so I've heated up the avocado oil. I've got the lentils on this side. They're still on a low simmer. And I'm going to put in the onions first. And then I will this is on high heat right now, which I'm going to lower. One thing about aromatics is you don't want to have high heat because it has a tendency to burn everything. And when it does that, it makes everything bitter, especially garlic, but also everything else. So next I've got the cumin. Now, again, traditionally you would use cumin seeds. I'm using cumin powder because I didn't have any cumin seeds. And we're going to see if there's a really big difference here, to be honest. But for you traditionalists, just please note, I do know the difference. I'm just waiting to see if it matters at all, or if there's a big difference. And turmeric. Cayenne. And garlic. So we've got the base already done with the lentils, and now it's about getting all the aromatics in and the onion, and this is what's going to form the depth to the dal. As you can see. So I'm going to let this simmer just for a little bit, and then I'm going to add, now you notice also that I've got a deep dish pan because I'm going to be adding the lentils directly into the pan. I think this has probably released itself enough. It's only been a minute or two. Now we're going to throw this in. So there's essentially two major stages, that is preparing the lentils and then adding the aromatics afterwards. It should make for what I think will be a pretty spectacular dal. So I'm going to let this simmer now for another 5 minutes. Let everything amalgamate. Alright, for the moment of truth, this has been 4 minutes. Actually 3, but I can't wait. I want to see what this is like. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so good. Only thing it's missing right now is salt. And I add salt at the end because, as you know, you can't take salt out, or if you do, it's really difficult. Wow. So this is spicy hot, mint, very refreshing. I'm going to serve this with pita. Now, normally you could use other breads, but I like pita for this. And this is going to thicken up as it cools. I'm going to turn the heat off on this right now. And let's taste it with the salt and see what happened here. But I have to say, this is an amazing dal. Pretty complex. Yeah. You know what? Salt made all the difference. I'm going to add a little bit more. That was a total of 1 teaspoon. But here you have it. Now, if you stick around, I'm going to show you what it looks like when it is completely cooled. This is done. Wow. The flavor profile on this is just, it's even better than what I remember. All right. So stick around and I'll show you the presentation afterwards. Thanks. All right, so here's the final product. We got the dal with some cilantro and some lemon. It's just warm, not hot. It's a little bit thick, and I can give you an idea of the consistency here. Some people like it more soupy, but this is exactly the way I like to have it. So, and of course I've got some Iranian barberry toasted bread underneath, garlic, which goes super with this. I hope you enjoy this, and if you like it, then please subscribe so that you'll get notified that I've got more on the way. Take care, and thanks for your support. Bye.